I think since I've become a leader, um, kind of 4 or 5 years ago, I think one of the advice I really resonate a lot with is um, it is harder to be kind than clever. It's actually advice Jeff Bezos, the grandfather, gave him when he was a 10-year-old boy. I will not talk about the story. You can actually Google the story, and it's a fascinating story. But I resonate a lot with that, right? It is harder to be kind than clever. So I think there is a misconception in Silicon Valley and also in tech in general that in order to be an effective leader, you need to be ruthless. You need to be brutal. And I don't buy that, and I don't believe that. There are a few leaders that I see as my role models when it comes down to leadership. One of them is Jeff Weiner, the former CEO of LinkedIn. The other is Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney. So both of these individuals, they are very balanced leaders. They are able to achieve amazing business outcome, but at the same time being amazing human beings and build this compassionate and empathetic culture in their company and earn their love and respect from everybody. So it is absolutely possible to do both, to have that balance. And I think sometimes people use I think sometimes people use being ruthless and brutal as an excuse for being lazy. So they're actually just lazy. They don't want to try as hard, right? So I actually think that it is important that we strive to both drive amazing results and be effective, as well as building that profound relationship with individuals on the team and also around you. I think leadership is, at the end of the day, about the ability to inspire others, right, to achieve the shared objective and shared goal. And in order to inspire, you need to have that compassion, and you need to be able to really relate to people and build that relationship with people. And then you need to be then utilizing that to inspire and motivate, right? So I think that is what I believe that is important for great leadership. And I have definitely been striving towards that, always remind myself not fall back to the easy path, which is to rely on power, position, authority to lead the organization, but instead try to take the harder path, which is to be kind, but also effective at the same time, and be that balanced leader. And I think I also want to mention that I think being kind by no means implies accepting mediocrity. No, I think sometimes being kind is actually about pushing that people and stretching that people to reach higher, right? So sometimes pushing them out of the comfortable zone is actually the greatest kindness you can do to an individual, right? So it is situational. You need to make that judgment yourself as a leader. What does that even mean? But I think always reminding myself to strive to achieve that balance is a very, very rewarding experience for me as a leader as I grow. And I just want to share that with all of you guys as well. Yeah. And which is perfectly aligned with the cultural norms at Fair, which is, again, why I feel it's such a great fit. So I resonate strongly with the cultural values that this company has adopted. Yeah.
How would you describe your leadership and management style?
I think I already touched a little bit on this. I will say compassion is the first word that I will use to describe myself. I have served under compassionate leaders. I have served under non-empathetic leaders. And I absolutely do not want to work with a leader that is not compassionate, not empathetic. So I tell myself to never become that. So if you work with me, you will feel that. I will show you that I really care and I really want to listen. And I do this genuinely, right? So I always want to understand where you come from, what is your motivation, what can I help? Right. So I think being compassionate is one thing I want to call out. I think transparency is another thing. I share transparently, honestly, whenever it's not against the company policy, with things that in my mind. So I like to create that transparency with people. I like to provide all the facts and data points, and you can do your judgment, right? I don't like to have hidden agendas, and I don't like to do the backstabbing or do maneuvers, kind of sideways. So I like to be transparent, and hopefully when I interact with you, you will get that feeling as well. I like empowering people. I don't like prescribed solution. I like giving them the high level direction and also setting up the right strategic motivation so that people will feel inspired to just find the right solution. But I can give feedback, right? I'm not expert on every single thing. I don't think I have the best ideas all the time, but I like to use the vision to inspire and then just empower people to search for the best solution. However, I will hold people accountable. I think that's a very important part that cannot be missed. So I will hold you accountable, right? So if you said you're going to deliver this or going to figure out something, you bet have an answer when the deadline is there, right? So we're going to sit down and look at what you'll find out. Either you have the solution or you have a reason that we have to pivot, right? But then if I trust you and empower you, I expect you to actually respect my trust, right? So I think holding people accountable for what they sign up for is also very, very important, right? So I will use those a few words to summarize: compassion, transparency, empowerment, and accountability, right? So I think those are a few things on top of my mind when it comes down to my leadership styles. Yeah.